Scar, the dark lion, the lion which represents Cain, sends the newborn cub by deception and trickery off into the north, where he almost loses his life. And the north indeed is fearful and evil. It is the land wherein dwells the hyenas. The hyenas are the enemies of the lions, and indeed of the entire kingdom. And when you hear these lions talking, you immediately discern, not lions, I'm sorry, hyenas. When you hear these hyenas talking, you immediately discern that they represent the black and Hispanic races. There's no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. And the intent is clear. They represent the black and Hispanic races, and because they dwell in the north, the place of darkness, the movie conveys to your children that they're evil and bad and dangerous and ignorant and stupid, as they are portrayed in this movie. Well, the young lion barely escapes with his life, but he does escape. And Scar makes a pact with the hyenas. He tells them that if they will side with him, he will kill the king, his brother, and he will rule in his stead. And the hyenas, of course, agree to this because he promises them that they will never be hungry again. Now, one of the things that you must understand is that the Golden Age is portrayed brilliantly here. The kingdom is full of lush growth vegetation. All of the animals are happy and fat. There is no strife in the kingdom except the ill will between the Lion King and his brother Scar. Which is to say that as the world existed then, was the best that has ever been, which is another lie, for this nation, the United States of America, is, or was, I should say, until recently, the best that had ever been. I hope you understand the significance of what you're learning and the significance of what was taught to your children as they sat watching The Lion King. You see a romance blossom between the young lion and a young lioness that promises fulfillment, promises a fertile kingdom, promises that the future will be just as good as the present. Indeed, the birth of the young lion in the beginning of the movie is an expression of the overabundance, the cornucopia of Babylon, the fertility of the land and of the kingdom, plenty for all. And what happens? What happens, ladies and gentlemen, is incredible, for it follows exactly the same old story that has existed throughout the history of the world, that has been used over and over again to manipulate peoples and nations and kingdoms and divide and conquer, and to promise things that cannot be delivered to those who will faithfully follow the manipulators, the puppet masters, those who pull the strings. This is all being taught to your children. The hyenas and Scar set up the situation that will result in the death of the Lion King. And, as Scar has planned it, the death of the young lion also. Under a pretext, another lie, another deception, Scar takes the young lion out into a gorge and sets him on a rock. Again, there is the rock. Sets him up on a rock under a tree. Under a tree. You see, in those days, All sacrifices were formed upon a rock, under a tree. Sometimes it was an elm, sometimes it was an oak, sometimes it was something else. And if you know the old story of Isis and Osiris, then you know that the acacia tree was one of them. But the young lion is placed upon a rock under a tree. And the hyenas have assembled the herds at the head of the gorge, and of course there is no way out. Scar then goes to tell the Lion King that his son is in danger, and tells him where he's at. And the Lion King runs off to save his son from whatever danger there is. And then the stampede is started. Up the gorge comes the huge herd of the plains animals back into this box canyon with no way out. Don't go away. You'll hear the rest soon. Yes, lions are growing. It's about time you understood the significance of all of this. It wasn't too long ago that I told you that you would begin to see more and more pyramids, more and more obelisks, more and more triangles cropping up everywhere. And of course that has happened. And after tonight you will know why the lion, the magnificent lion with his paws over the entrance of the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas faces directly the Luxor. For the two are part of the same mystery. And now you will begin to see more and more lions cropping up, lions rampant, lions lying, lions this, lions that, lions everything. But let us go back to the gorge where the Lion King is rushing madly to rescue his son and is caught up in the stampede. The lion at this point represents the sun, which dies at sunset. Osiris, who was killed by his brother Typhon, also called Set. Osiris represented the sun. The lion also represents Abel. He represents the sacrificed king. He represents John F. Kennedy, who was slain at the point where the sun was at the most high point in the Temple of the Sun in Dealey Plaza, in the presence of an obelisk and a reflecting pool in the four corners. Of a architectural rendering similar to Stonehenge. Dealey Plaza shaped like the truncated pyramid with the capstone missing. The eye, indeed, is the underpass under the railroad overpass. All of these things have been portrayed and represented and foretold throughout the history of the world by every different people in every different religion. It is the old cosmology.